Good morning, guys. Unfrequented world, and just out in the bush setting up some trail cams today. I wanted to have a talk with you guys about what I want to do, a new series on the channel. And we've kind of put a couple videos up, and it's about my Bigfoot story. So what I want to do going forward is I want to do a bit of a series. I live in one of the premier places in the world where if such a creature existed, it would be here. And I have spent a lifetime in these forests and on these lakes and rivers, fishing, hunting, trapping, just out exploring, camping, you name it. This is how we grew up. I have a few ideas, things we can implement for the channel. I'm a professional photographer in my spare time, and I have tons of equipment. My goal would be to try and capture video footage of the Bigfoot cryptid here in Northern Ontario, Canada. Now, I run a lot of trail cams. For you guys who watch the channel know that I'm a very avid trail cam guy. I believe that if there is such a thing as Bigfoot, it is just an animal, a cryptid. It could be caught on camera. That being said, I do believe that these guys that are saying they don't get anything on camera, hey, I know that animals see the infrared light on here. I know that some animals hear the camera click when it comes on. So we're not going to rely just on trail cameras. But I think there is a situation where trail cameras have been underutilized. You can take these trail cameras, set them up on a hill overlooking the swamp, and set it to time-lapse mode. Take one photo every 30 seconds, every minute, whatever interval you want. Leave them there for 6 months and come back and go through the thousands of images that would be on there and just see, did something cross the swamp? Did you get lucky? It doesn't have to be a video mode. You can't tell me an animal 500 yards off down in the swamp, crossing a swamp, would know there's a trail camera sitting up on the hill filming it. That's absurd to me. And we're going to try to prove that. That's one of the techniques I want to use. Go into some real remote spots, set these up, and just see what we get. Some of them will run on video, some of them will run on interval settings. The other thing I want to do is get the drone. We want to do a lot of droning. A lot of this ground here looks like it's accessible, easily accessible, and it's not. It's bog, it's muskeg, it's marsh, it's wet, it's very tough going. You get a couple miles out and you're beat. You might be done for the day, depending on how many windfalls you've had to cross. It's very tough going, very dense forest up here. I'm going to show you guys right now with the drone, and I want to show you 1 3 square mile patch. Okay, so keep in mind how tiny of a space this is, but look how empty it is. Look at the marsh, look at the trees, look at the forest. Anything could be living back here, and it is. As we've shown on the trail cameras, I have marten, fisher, fox, bear, deer, the odd moose comes through, all 100 yards right behind my house. Wolves, coyotes, just to name a few. And it's all here, right on the edge of town, 100 yards off behind the house. So what are we going to capture when we head out, 100 miles north of here, or 50 miles north of here? So what I want to do is start doing some trips. And we're going to do specific movies just on this. We're going to look for signs. We're going to look for structures. We're going to look for places where the big guy might just live and see what we can find for evidence. All of that being said, I have just myself over 30 years as a licensed hunter experience. I bow hunt, I rifle hunt, I trap, and I keep waiting for other people to find proof of life out here. And I have to say, between my hunting group and all the guys I know a ragtag bunch of guys, and between them they have hundreds of years of experience tracking, stalking, hunting, trapping. I know the guys you want to know that are out here in the bush doing what some of these channels online pretend to do when they go out and they go to the local park and whatever. No, we're not going to go to the local park. We're going to go into no man's land by boat, by four-wheeler, and then we're going to go miles further by drone, and we're just going to scout swamps from the air. because that is my other thing that I think is underutilized, and that's drone footage. If there is a cryptid out there, and it's got to cross swamps, it's got to cross open land, if you had enough people droning in these remote areas, you know, and you're 500 meters up there, I don't think an animal would hear that. I could be wrong, but then again, you can still see 300, 400 yards across a swamp with a drone. So even if it did hear it, you have a good chance of catching something as you're scanning over these swamplands. So that's the other thing I want to do a lot of. And I just want you guys' input, feedback, ideas. You know, I think I have a couple really good ideas to start there. The other idea, the other premise is just to get out there and do some night camping. No, I'm not going to hoot and holler and do howls through the bush. I think if we're just out there and something comes in, if there was a cryptid out there, it would know we were there if we were having a fire, camping. So yeah, we're just going to get out and do some exploring and see what we can find. Most of my gear, apart from the trail cameras, will shoot 4K. The trail cameras I own all do 1080 HD, so we're not going to settle for anything less than that. 4K camcorder, 4K 42 megapixel DSLRs. If it's out there and we can get an image of it, we're going to get an image of it. We're going to get video of it. We're not going to do any of this potato camera stuff. Low light, cell phone, no. I'm going to try to do the best I can and use the best equipment I have. And I have a ton of equipment, guys. Long lenses, telephoto lenses, you name it, we've got it in the arsenal. Tens of thousands of dollars worth of gear at my disposal, and we're going to do this. Why haven't I done it before? There's always that fear of ridicule, and you know, your friends look at you and say, well, he's crazy, he's going after something that doesn't exist. Well, I don't know if it exists or not. I've never had a sighting. No one I know has ever had a sighting. But we're going to try to get to the bottom of it, because I did have that experience with the screaming years ago. Videos on the channel, we're not going to go over that again. I've never heard anything like that before or since. The other thing I want to do with this video series is some interviews. I know a lot of the old timers, you know, when I say that they're 70, they're in that age, they're in that group, that era. They have a lifetime of experience in the bush up here. I just want to ask them. I want to know. Some of them will talk on camera, some of them won't. Have you seen anything? Have you ever seen any evidence? Has there ever been anything you couldn't explain? These are the guys to ask. You can't be afraid to ask these guys. When you know as many of them as I do, because those are all the people here. Good, hard-working, trapping, hunting. This is their lives. They're four-wheeling. Their fun weekend is to load the boat, go, you know, 70 miles and go fishing and camp out for the weekend. These are the kind of guys you want to talk to and get stories from if they've ever seen anything, if they have any evidence. I know a lot of guys like that. I'm not making any promises, but we're going to start. And it was very hard to sit down and make this video because, like I say, ridicule is a thing, but I'm getting past that at my old age. I don't care. I'm not saying there is something out there, but I'm certainly saying we're going to try our darndest with all of the technology at my disposal to find out.